Okay, we'll get back closer to civilization. That's why I don't get by with a lot of lives out here. Now you can see. Mrs. Metal, wife, Illinois. Does it look and sound better now? I got up a little closer to the house. Maybe the Wi-Fi signal will pick up. I see now my conscience grows on me. I can't get too damn spicy. I got my kids in here. Although they pretty much know how I feel. AJW. Maybe a few of y'all might have seen a little short I put up the other day. Had a couple of my pew-pews in it and my thoughts on the current situation. And it's done pretty good, actually. Usually YouTube shuts me down about 1,000, so... Oh, they fixing to go do math? They usually shut me down about 1,000 on my views, so... For it to get 3,000, I guess it spread far and wide with the thumbs up, but... Few of the comments in there on the video, you know, you've always got the keyboard warrior. Well, you know, you're just one of the guys talking about it and not doing anything about it. And that's a big talking point on YouTube, is how come nobody's doing anything about it. And that's really not just here for the US. I mean, it's worldwide. I mean, y'all all know my wife there, little Frenchie. She's from France, Europe over there. I was just talking with her this morning about us maybe doing a live stream together to get both sides of it, you know? I mean, the way that she grew up in the culture and the government and the overreach and the control was totally different than what I grew up with here in the States. Maybe it's just me getting to a point that I've lost faith in the system, all of it, all of the intermingling cogs of this machine. I was talking with a guy this morning. About all the change and how it's affecting people, and the discussion being, and the topic on YouTube is, how are we going to change it? And I'm a true believer in freedom, so y'all's opinions and the things that y'all believe and the things that y'all want to hold true to your heart and believe in, all the more power to you. It makes no difference to me whatsoever. We can agree to disagree, but at least recognize it. Yeah, Mrs. Metal. I thought it would be. Because it's not that we're on the polar opposite sides of everything, but, you know, I guess just the exposure that we received. And, you know, I give it to my wife. She still got a lot of faith in the system. And I know a lot of that probably comes through with, you know, hope for our kids, just like me. It's everywhere that's horrible, Jennifer. It is crazy. I've said it 100 times. The amount of stuff that we know that they tell us, that's the first thing that you have to realize is, you know, they let us know what they want us to know. They teach us what they want us to know. And they have for longer than anyone in this live stream has been alive. They taught your parents the same thing and their grandparents the same thing. That's the system that we live in. Why is nobody going to stand up and do nothing? Because you're used to paying 50% tax anyway. You've paid it your whole life. You're going to continue to pay the 50% tax. Cut it up however you want. Federal income tax, property tax, sales tax, this tax, that tax, death tax. Tax it all up. Nobody is going to stand up and do anything because they're in fear of losing what they have, whether or not they realize they've already lost it or never had it. What's going on, Trey? But they will. They will. They've been saying that for 5,000 years, man. It ain't no different than it was 5,000 years ago. You got pharaohs and you got peasants. Time went along and, you know, they called him a king. Even today, it doesn't matter left, right. If you're under the assumption that what you see is the government operating our world, you know, that's just, you know, one of those conspiracy theories right there. There are bigger powers that play. The people that you see are puppets. Those are the people that they want you to see. You don't see the bigger players behind the curtain. We see the tip of the iceberg. Everybody's all up in arms and who, you know, you got one side hoorahing, you got one side laughing, you got one side that still don't know what the hell is going on with all the Epstein crap. Not even realizing that that's just one place. You know how many thousands of those kind of people there are? And those are the kind of people that are running the show today. You know as well as I do, Trey, man, when you, even talking about that subject is going to bring things down upon you, much less trying to stand up and do something about it. They want you to. As soon as you do, just like the home guy that just ran his car into the electrical station out there, you know, you're the right-wing conspiracy theory, crazy, you know, prepper, you know, whatever they label you. And the masses, man, I don't blame anybody. Well, I do blame everybody. I blame everybody, including myself. But, you know, that group of people that has eyes open and ears to hear, you know, we are such a small group in the big picture of things. I mean, break down those numbers, man. 350 million people here. How many do you really think got eyes open that understand? Zephyr? No, can't say I've heard of that. I mean, they're, you know, I understand the philosophy, man. It ain't that you got to win. You just got to be a thorn in the side. You ain't got to win, but you can't let them win. I mean, come on, bro. I know you got kids, life. We've all seen the examples. Waco, Ruby Ridge, a couple of weeks ago in Minneapolis. They do not mind killing you. And then, you're just another statistic. Everybody should have took self-accountability a long time ago, and we wouldn't have these problems today. If you don't want to pay your taxes, don't pay your taxes. And whenever they come out there to do whatever it is that they're going to do, handle your business. If you got some pedo that has, molested your kids, it should be your due diligence to make sure he doesn't take another breath. That's when you pay the cost. Not by waiting 50, 60, 70, 100, 200 years letting it get out of control. All this goes way back a couple of 100 years. And it ain't just like the corruption just took over 4, 8, 10, 12 years ago. These people have worked this system for a long, long time. You don't think the revolution wasn't planned? You don't think the Civil War wasn't planned? You don't think all these wars in between then and now haven't been planned? What's going on, Pilgrim? War is a very lucrative business. Peace don't pay anything. That's just the world we live in. That's just facts, folks. And shit don't really change without violence. How'd all them negotiations go in Venezuela? How are them negotiations going in Cuba? How'd the negotiations go in Afghanistan and Iraq and Iran and every civilization that we've ever known as mankind throughout history? How did all that go? How did it all change? How was America born? How was any country born? Violence. It will come to that eventually one day. Don't think that they haven't made plans for that. They're all going to crawl in their little hole, all right, and let everybody fight it out, and then they're going to come in and sweep up whatever's left over. They are driving us straight there. I don't care whether you're picking left, right, up, down, red, blue, both sides are driving us straight there. That's right, they from both sides. Every part of the financial system is rigged. The big players know how to play it. They built the system. You think you're gonna run off and buy you a little gold or silver or Bitcoin and become rich? Few out of millions and millions and millions of people understand how that works and are able to make a profit at it. Every part of that system, the judicial system, the financial system, legislative system, the government, all of the governments, not just ours. For y'all foreign people out there, it's them too. Whatever you want to call that group of people, the elitists. You know, and we, the public, are the ones that pay for that. How many politicians and politician family members have you seen out there on the front lines of Ukraine? I mean, that's been going on for, well, it's been going on a lot longer than that, about 10 years, actually. You know, and our CIA is the one that kicked all of that off over there. Uprooting governments and starting crap. 10 years over in Ukraine. We all know the corruption that's going on over there. It's just like the list. Why do you need these people's names on a list to verify something that they may or may not have done? I mean, I'm sure y'all have all heard the last greatest excuse. Well, just because so-and-so's name is on the list didn't mean they didn't do anything. They were just there at a party. I've told y'all before exactly how I feel. If you want to hang out with those kind of people, I consider you just part of those kind of people. People think there's this great awakening. People are seeing the truth, blah, 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 blah. What are they waking up to? The fact they're realizing now that in 2026, you can't pay rent, you can't have a car, your health insurance freaking sucks. You're eating poison freaking food. Is that what they're waking up to? The fact they live in a police state with a tyrannical government? Oh man, JFK or Junior or whatever the hell, whoever the hell he is, he took the food coloring out of the cereal and the candy. Oh my goodness, yeah. Throw the peasants a bone out there. It's exactly the discussion I was having with my wife this morning. Getting older, you know, want to eat healthier, blah, 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 you know, everybody. I said, you know, that's what I told her. I said, eat healthy, huh? Go over there in the refrigerator and open the refrigerator and tell me where that pack of fresh strawberries came from. I mean, it's mid-February here in Texas. There ain't a strawberry around anywhere. Where are you growing them? Maybe, possibly some out of California. What percentage of our fruits and vegetables are actually imported? What's going on, Bonnie? From foreign countries. What chemicals and fertilizers and pesticides are those other countries using? You think they got to comply with USDA regulations? You think they give two shits that they're slapping a paper ingredients label on the side that says non-GMO? The way our system works today, folks, is if food is not grown commercially with, you know, commercial fertilizers and chemicals and pesticides, that food is not produced. Anyone out there that has a garden or grows any type of their own food understands that, because the production that comes out of your little garden is not a whole lot of food. I don't know very few people that have their own garden that can produce enough food on their own property to live all year. Everything. You want to eat organic, you're going to have to grow it organically on your farm. You picked it, you grew it, you got the dirt, you know what's in it. And I know very few people that can do it. Try as you might, and that's a good thing. Uh-oh, here come the goats. Everything, Jennifer, they've got us. Whether people want to realize that or not and think that all of this stuff is coming, it is already here. If you're worried about this technology coming in the future and what they're going to do to you and all, It's already here. Meat. Well, Bonnie, depending on where you're getting that meat ain't no better. There are a few of us out here that can get fresh meat and know people that have cattle, and you can get some decent meat, but probably 95% of everything again is commercially and industrial grown. What the masses eat. The percentage of people that actually get and consume and grow good food is very small. Again, those numbers always shrink down. Our system operates to please the masses, the 320, 30 million other people. And when you spread 10 or 15 or 20 million of us people out with eyes open and trying to do something and do right out on your own place and blah, 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 it's a few million spread out over the whole country. Raising your own stuff out here on your own land, it becomes the issue. Not very many people have land where they can feed all of their animals. Most people, they add feed to it, and you're buying from a feed store. Where did that stuff come from? What chemicals and pesticides are on it? The supply chain to keep animals and stuff going is crazy. It's virtually impossible to get around it. Yeah, the bag says non-GMO animal food. How do you know that? I mean, corporations are in business to lie. They got no problem lying to us. We can try, and it makes you feel better to some degree, but it's. Bro, say, get over here. Get up here. You don't need to be running off to the neighbors. $311. My goodness. Hey, Randy. Well, I could probably buy one and ship it to you for a third of that price, Jennifer. I can tell you what's in the water and soil. It ain't good. That puts you right back into the same circle we were in a while ago, commercial and industrial growing. If these people don't put chemicals and fertilizers and all that kind of stuff in the ground, on the ground, they ain't growing food. You're not going to grow food organically to feed 8 billion people. Look at what we do right now, and we can't keep everybody fed on the planet. And yeah, there's a lot of wasteful people, blah, blah, blah. Fact is, it doesn't matter if you didn't waste any food, there would still be a lot of hungry people. You got to realize, we've farmed and grazed this land here for a couple of 100 years. Pretty consistently and heavily. That nutrient has not been replaced well with, good stuff. Industrialization. Ain't none of that gotten any better. The numbers just don't add up. The books are cooked, and when the powers that be get their players positioned on the board, we will see the reset. And that will come in the form of war. It's that's what they've used our whole lives. That's all World War I and World War II were. It will come down to violence and the change. Now, what that change is going to be, I don't have any idea. And that's what I was talking to my buddy about this morning. We're not going to change the way the ship is steering, all right? It's going to be a matter of you changing to accommodate that machine. Because that machine will roll you over, chew you up, and shit you out, no problem. People aren't going to take self-accountability and stand up, you know. Who is voluntarily going to give up their life to go out there and, you know, take care of some dude that, you know, raped a woman or killed their neighbor or whatever? Not very many. Very few, actually. Tell me any that have done it in the last 100 years. I mean, we all saw the videos and crap where people will stand by and watch women get raped on the train platform and just video it for their, you know, self-accountability. I mean, like I said, don't pay them taxes and stand up for your principal when they come out there to remove you off of your property. Hey, Randy. A guy killed your neighbor, cold blood. Well, you know what to do. I am a firm believer in an eye for an eye. And like most people out there, whether y'all want to admit it or not, I've drawn the line in the sand down there. I try to leave people alone, and I try to do the right thing, and I ain't gonna say that I don't ever break the law, but whatever you want to call it. Exactly, Illinois. You don't ever own it. I'll never own this piece right here. I mean, as much as they want to talk about doing away with property taxes and doing away with the IRS and, helping the peasants, we all see those lies, which was no different than the guy before. I ain't all blaming it on this guy. He's the same as all the other guys. Lie to the peasants, throw them a bone, make them feel good. The system moves forward. We all comply. As bad as all of the infamous YouTubers want to stand out there and say they don't comply, they comply. And I don't care. I know them all. I know people that live on the street. I know people that live in their car. I know people that have $4 or $5 million homes. I know people that fly around in private jets, and they all comply. And the system works very well, because if you don't comply, you ain't going to own shit and you're going to be happy. We all think that that's coming, but it's already here. You don't own shit. What do you own? You don't own nothing. What, a few little knickknacks you got around your house that you want to call your private possession? Wow. You don't own the land. That money in your pocket is not yours. That's a promissory note from the Federal Reserve. That's their money. You got your mortgage paid off? You think you own that house? Psh, yeah, right. "65 years old, no longer to pay property tax." Well, wasn't that just honorable of them? They only taxed you for 50 years. for you to be able to live out your last few, no property tax. Yeah, the bad thing about that, Matthew, is it's only like a 10 by 10 area. You're only allotted so many square feet, so. Yeah, but that don't go very far anymore, Bonnie. I mean, maybe between you and the handful of friends that you have, but as far as the world goes, they don't give two shits. They don't know you from a hole in the wall, and your word to them means nothing. Sign here on the dotted line. I don't know. I feel very fortunate, man, to be able to pretend like I got what I have and sit out here on my place and kind of do what I want up to this point. Not that I do a lot anyway, but I just think all that talk about people standing up and going to do something, you know, I don't think I'll see it in my lifetime, and I'm just 54, and, you know, I don't plan on living to be 75, so another 25 years. I don't think the mass majority already realize how much they are under control, and that is going to increase so drastically and so fast over the next few years. It's going to be, it's crazy times. It really is. I mean, we're just starting to see the takeover of AI and robotics. There isn't really anything that you can do. I mean, the normal everyday person, and like I said, me and Ann are very fortunate, but I mean, the investment world, trying to provide a service or something, you know, to try and make money, there are just so few little things out there that can be done. Oh yeah, they out clicking around. Oh yeah, character. I won't get too into the religious thing, but the problem I have with the whole religious thing is they get too complacent and they just sit around waiting. I don't think God put us here or intended us on to sit around and wait. What's going on, Art? Financial advisors? You know, Bonnie, there's probably maybe a few out there. As an overall, I would say no. But if you've made it to the point in life to where you need a financial advisor, I would assume that you're pretty smart anyway and know what to do with that money. You don't need to pay someone to tell you what to do with your money. And they all want to tell you the same things, you know. Invest in the securities, things that are secure, you know, bonds. The problem is that we live in a world today to where you don't know what's going to be going on in a year or 2 years or 10 years. Why do I want to go put $50,000 in a 10-year bond? That becomes the issue, is tying up any kind of investment that you make today, and any kind of investment that you make is risky. I was talking to another guy this morning in my RV park, you know. I mean, he's a guy, works locally, you know, raising a family, living in an RV. He needs more room. I want to know if he can build a tiny house back there on the back on his pad site. And I told him, we had considered, we got 10 acres sitting on the other side of the lake over there. It'd be great to cut it up in, maybe half-acre slots and put a little house on each one of them, and just a little tiny house. But by permits and fees and county and regulations, even doing it all myself. I mean, that's $1 million investment. And just to recover your money is about 10 years at $1,200 a month to rent a little house. You want to tie up $1 million for 10 years? Not knowing what's going to happen, not knowing people are going to have jobs, not knowing whether people can pay rent. It is heavy, but it still works, Art. Yeah, increase taxes, regulations, laws, they can change all of that at any one point. There again, another talking point on YouTube. Everybody's, well, you come pry it from my cold dead hand. Folks, they will not, very few send someone out to your property to pry it from your cold dead hand. They don't have to. They can wait you out by the push of a button nowadays. Just how tied in you are to the system. Push of a button, boop, you got no more driver's license. Boop, you got no more mortgage. You got no more banking account. You got no more electricity with that smart meter. There's one of the few guys right here in this chat room that I've seen do it. Y'all can all point the finger at him. I know he can do it. When the guy sets out in the morning and walks 5 miles to the post office and walks back home and light his smoke off of flint and steel, all right? Sit butt naked in the ice cold river and sleep with the dogs and cat in the tent when it's 10 degrees outside. Y'all know exactly who I'm talking about. He can do it. What's going on, Tony? Yeah, you ain't gonna get nowhere, Ark, without driving, without power, and they control all of that. People are unprepared to go against the system. I said it the other day. Oh, they're gonna stand up and we're gonna have a civil war. The supplies that would be demanded to have a civil war. What team are you on? And please tell me which one of those teams has a supply of everything needed to, like I said, stand up against the government. Oh, you're going to get your 20 or 30, 40,000 people together and go to D.C. and march with your rifles? Oh, boy. They have plenty of order followers that will come out there and gun you down in the street. You've already seen it. Pretty much on live TV. Not to mention the fact that if you even attempted to get 30,000 people together, they would be up your ass with a microscope. Yeah, exactly, Art. They've already got the system there. You're not going to be ungovernable, because if you're ungovernable, you own nothing and you got what you got. You're living on the street because they control all of that. Just by putting their little ink on the paper, you become a felon overnight. What's going on, Super Dave? That's all they got to do is sign the little paper on you. And it doesn't have to be on you in general. This whole idea of what Trump is doing with the executive orders and You know, people think he's stepping out of bounds and stepping on the Constitution, and just a dictator. He's doing what he wants to. All right. I know y'all are all smart enough and have heard already. You know, his approval rating is down 76%, folks. You got the midterms coming up. You don't think that pendulum ain't going to swing back the other way? Go ahead and laugh at me. What do you think about President Newsom? Mr. Gavin Newsom. How about that? How about some other left-wing nut job that's going to become president? How far left do you think that pendulum is going to swing? You don't think they can't use those same powers and use the same stuff that Trump did as an example? Well, look, Trump went after all of the migrants with his executive order. We signed our piece of paper here that made guns illegal. Now, we got to send all of our authorities out there to collect your guns. And don't think that means they're going to come knocking on your front door. No, they hire 80,000 people behind a computer issuing those warrants for your arrest. Wherever your driver's license is used, wherever your credit card is used. They know where you are and what you're doing. They can shut you down. No more for you. Boop. The reality is you're going to change with the machine. There is no doubt in my mind at some point in the future they will sign legislations to rid us of our weapons. That don't mean they gotta come take them. It's precedent all over the world. Oh, well, this is America. They won't never get our guns. Yeah. This is America. They won't ever limit your free speech. This is America. Don't tread on my Second Amendment. It's America. What happened to my Fourth Amendment? You know, half of the warrants issued in the United States today don't even have to go through a judge. Any federal officer can sign a warrant for another federal officer and have that warrant. Won't happen here in America. The Supreme Court is a farce. Our Constitution is null and void, folks. All right? Your Second Amendment. How many words are in that Second Amendment? How many sentences? What is it? Isn't it like, what, 17, 18 words, 3 sentences? Tap on your Google AI right quick and tell me how many gun laws are on the books right now. How many laws restrict your Second Amendment? And you're telling me the Constitution works? It's null and void, folks. You think the government is following the Constitution? The government shouldn't own anything. They should have a little piece of land that's 10 miles by 10 miles named Washington, D.C. Other than that, it's pretty much against the law for the federal government to own land. And how much land now is controlled by the federal government? The whole masses. That's why I want to have a live with Ann. You know, all these conspiracy theories here, like Arctare. I mean, there's no doubt they're putting in the smart cities. Population control, it's probably going to come at some point. We're getting to that point to where they don't need humans. The robotics are getting there. I know, a lot of y'all watch the stuff you see on YouTube and blah, blah, blah about the robotics and technology. And I'm telling you, that ain't the good stuff, all right? They keep the good stuff behind closed doors. That's just like all this alien bullshit, Obama and Trump, and it's all been brought up. The alien thing has been around for 80 years now. Longer than that, really, but, mainstream to most of the people. Back from Roswell on, it became, something. Well, what you don't understand about is, what most people don't see, is the government is compartmentalized, all right? And most of that stuff, 99% of it, whether it be advanced technology or advanced aircraft or robotics or whatever it is, those projects are all behind closed doors, and to many of them, private corporations. All right, the government assigns all of that stuff out to contractors like Boeing and Northrop Grumman and Lockheed, the big places that work on that kind of stuff. And those big places subcontract that out to other contractors. So the government coming out and giving you information on what information they have is a small piece of the pie, because none of those other facilities are good about divulging all of their information, and they don't have to. So whether or not there are aliens and what kind of technology they had and what we've been doing, you'll never know all of that. It's twisted and confuzzled and varied and behind doors and places that we will never see. Just like the Epstein files. It's just been going on for 30 years, man. How many times have those files been scrubbed in and out, deleted, changed, added, whatever you want to call it? You're never going to see the full file. I mean, think about it, guys, all right? We've been shooting rockets into space for 65, 70 years now. How many loads are they taking up there? What do you think they really got floating around out there around this planet? And I know, let's not go into the rabbit hole about the firmament and we can't get to space and blah, 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 all that bullshit. Let's play their game and just say that we've made it to space. What do you think they really got built out there? I mean, you realize, Elon, he's sending a rocket up pretty much once a week. And that thing can lift like 400 tons. What do you think they're really building out there? You think the space station, the little pictures they give us from the space station are all, all we got? There's no doubt they have drilled and bored and underground all over this world. But, the new frontier is space. What have they been working on? Yeah, Space Force. The Space Force ain't to fly around down here. You hear me, Ark? I can pretty much 100% guarantee you, with technology that just our government has, and I have no idea about the rest of them, but where we are and the technology that they have, when they do break some of that technology out, a hell of a lot of people are probably going to think that it's alien, because they ain't never seen nothing like that. You ain't never seen anything that'll do Mach 10 and hover without noise, turn invisible. The world is changing, folks. Hell no, Elon wasn't a random pick. That's where you get into all of that crazy, what do they call it, Mandela effect stuff? I mean, come on. I mean, it ain't hard to go back in history and find where they wrote books about Trump and Barron and Elon, and the rabbit hole goes deep. And don't tell me it's all coincidence, my ass. Yeah, Ark, I have seen some strange things too. But none of it bothers me too much. I know the government has a lot of things that we're just not privy to that would seem weird. And I'm not, I'm not past believing in aliens. I'm not so conceited that I think we are the only life form in this great universe, whatever you want to call it. God made us. He could just as easily have made somebody else, and there ain't nothing that says he had to tell you about it, or you would figure it out or find it out whenever he wanted you to. That's what makes us human, man. We just opinions and beliefs. We can't agree on nothing. Some say we were here 6,000 years. Some say we were here 5 billion years. That's another thing about the religious thing. A lot of people say, believe in the Bible and all that kind of stuff, but they live a life of science. I mean, everything that you were taught and told growing up, since all of us were alive, yeah, it could be art. There is no telling, man. I tell you, I would not be surprised if the center earth lizard people didn't crawl out of my hill ground over here. The crazy stuff going on. Yeah, Bonnie. There ain't nowhere to go. I mean, the only place to go is off of this rock, and none of us have that capability. And then where are you going to go? That's the downfall of civilization and society. I mean, if you go by the book, and we've been here 6,000 years, and it ain't gotten no better. We as people are still fighting because my God is better than your God, and my ground is holier than your ground, and I'm right and you're wrong, and I want to be the richest, most powerful. That's human nature. It's been here since the beginning. It ain't changed. It ain't got no better. It's like I said before, we got pharaohs and peasants, and today you got the same thing. They can lie to us and make us feel warm and fuzzy all day long. All right, catch one for me, man. Stay safe. Crappie. That sounds good. Ark living the life out there. I think maybe as we just get older and wiser, we come to that point to where, I don't know, maybe you just don't really give a shit anymore, and you got fewer years ahead of you than you got behind you, and it's just time to do what you want to do. I know Tony understands there. I've said it the whole time. They're going to wait us older generation out. They've already got the younger ones. Whether you want to believe that your world is electronic and you are already a digital fingerprint in their system, go ahead and don't comply with it and see how that works out for you. I know people that don't comply with the system, and I see what they have and how they live. And I don't hold that against them at all. More power to them. I wish them the best of luck. I would help them all that I could, but that's not the way that I want to live. Yeah, okay, whatever. Let me bend over and let the government give it to me a little more, but you know, I can't sit out here on my own place. Yeah, I pay taxes on it, but I enjoy my place. I can grow some food. I can sit out here and play with my pew-pews. Yeah, Jennifer, there's no doubt in that, you know. I mean, but that's a whole nother rabbit hole in itself. The religions that we have here on this planet won't get along with each other. Maybe that was God's plan. I don't know. It's a very strange conundrum to which we live, because God gives us free will to do all these things, to be bad to each other and have all these horrific things happen and natural disasters and blah, blah, blah. The list is pages and pages and pages long, and yet he has the power to snap his fingers and make it all go away, and we all live in paradise. It's quite the conundrum. Yeah, I hate to get all religious, man. It's everybody's got their own belief, and you know, Christians can't agree with each other, Muslims can't agree with each other, Buddhists can't agree with each other. They all got disagreements within their own sect. You know, again, there's pages and pages and pages of the problems that the Christians have between each other. You can't go into any damn live stream on YouTube that's talking about religion that there ain't people in there disagreeing with something. Pre-rapture that, post-rapture this, he's this, they were that, this is what that meant, this is my interpretation, and I'm right, damn it, because that's my interpretation. I'm reading version 432. Mine is right, yours is wrong. Yours is old. Your spirituality is between you and your God. And that's it. There ain't nobody gonna hold your hand or get you any closer. Nobody. And it don't matter whether you think you're gonna float off into some magical place, or you know, you're going to Valhalla, or you're gonna, you know, float across the River Thames and pay your silver piece. As far as I care, you have that right to believe anything you want to believe. I can assure you, one day you are going to find out. We are all going to find out. And through all of the research and the bullshit I've read through and the lies that have been taught to us for thousands of years, there's going to be a hell of a lot of disappointed people. And if you want to read the good book, it tells you in that book it's going to be a pretty thin path. And by no means am I a saint. I take nothing for granted. I give thanks and I pray. Hope the best for all and try and live a decent moral life. It's hard in today's world. It's hard. Because the masses out there are willing to follow people like what we have in charge and believe in the things that they say, knowing the things that they've done. Blindly follow instead of cutting your own path and disseminating your own information and looking at the world logically. So many people are just lemmings right off of the cliff. It's all that big circle. 50% of the people don't even pay income tax. They're taken care of by the other 50% that do pay tax. In our great democratic republic that we have here 250 years later, 49% control, or 51% control the other 49%. That's just how it is. And they have the two-party system to where they've got that worked out in finite numbers. It works. And they have screwed us to the sum of trillions of dollars. So much so that people are volunteering to take up arms and go fight in foreign fucking countries to defend these crooked... Woo! Let me get my blood pressure down there a minute. It blows my mind, man. It's so tough. Y'all can't even count on your hands the number of countries that we've invaded since y'all been alive. For what? Like the last 25 years. How's Afghanistan doing today? How's Iraq doing today? Go back further. How's Vietnam doing today? It's insane.